We are excited to show you our Eis products today. We have a lot of different options hardware-wise that allow you to not have to quote. We wanted to make sure that when you're out on these jobs, if it's a residential property and all they want is a call button to be able to call and let people in, we're going to give you that option at a very good price. Or if it's a big apartment complex where they have, a couple hundred units behind it, we wanted to give you an option where they have a screen and an LCD where they can really scroll through and use those features and functionality. So what we've done is given you a lot of options hardware-wise. We know from research and really studying that our products are priced one of the best priced products on the market when it comes to GSM telephone entry and GSM devices, and are some of the most feature-rich. We focused a lot on our software and our app, which we will focus on and show you today. We have a true app that can be downloaded from both the Android store and the iPhone store. It's called Eis-Web, EIS-Web. And we also have true cloud-based software, which means you can access the software and manage any device that you have installed from your computer, a laptop when you're on vacation, your customer's computer. You have that option, and we'll show that to you as well, and that's at iceware.com. You can see the demo board that we have here. We're going to be doing all of our configuration today on this Eis LCD unit here. So all the configuration I'll do on the software and on the app will be through the Eis LCD. We also have a couple different options that we'll go through here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and jump to the computer, and I'll show you the hardware that we have. Okay, before we do that, again, I wanted to make sure you guys know that we have all of the resources that we are showing you today are on our website. I get all of our cut sheets, all of our instruction manuals, everything directly off of our website, so you can access these as well. A couple things to note is we will be at the ISC West Show for any of you guys going, and you have our booth number here. That will also get you a link to a free registration, so you can get into the show for free. And then anybody in Texas, I'm sure you've seen, but we are doing some trainings in Texas. We'll be in Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, February 21st through the 23rd, and you can register here. So just always reference our website when you need to see if you need manuals, cut sheets, product information, or just to know kind of upcoming events for Transmitter Solutions. So let's go ahead and jump in. We'll go to our products, and we will go to Eis GSM Solutions. And these are all of the hardware options that we have, and we will go through these pretty quickly because I mostly want to show you what makes this product so cool is the software and the app, because those allow you to have a ton of functionality as the installer. And one of the great things is that if it's a Friday night and your customer calls you and says, hey, so-and-so's code is not working, it's not triggering the gate, you can log on from your house or from wherever you are and say, well, actually, you never programmed in so-and-so's code, so they're just typing in a number that's not valid. Rather than having to drive all the way out to the site, plug your computer in, run a report, you don't have to do any of that with our system. It is true cloud-based and true app, downloadable app from both, again, iTunes and Android. So here's the options that we have. And again, our job has been to make sure that you have different options at different price points so that when you're quoting jobs, anything from residential to commercial, you'll have an option that will suit you and suit your customer's price point, and you're able to win those jobs. So you can see here that we have a couple units that are not telephone entry systems. They are what we'll call just GSM access control units. The first one is the Eis Lock. The Eis Lock is a GSM activated and managed keypad. All of these units, I will say, use the same exact software, the iceware.com, and can be controlled through the app. Every single unit can be controlled through the app and through the iceware.com website. The Eis Lock, the Eis Card Reader, and the Eis MS all have the same board inside of them. So when we look at the Eis Lock here, you'll see the same board is in the Eis Card Reader, the Eis MS, and the Eis Lock. Before I show you the board, we'll talk about the differences here. The Eis Lock is a keypad, okay? It does have a Wiegand input, so you can also manage and track Wiegand transmitters or Wiegand cards by plugging in a Wiegand card reader. And I'll show you that here in just a minute, but this is basically a keypad. So a good application for the Eis Lock would be a ranch or an off-site location where they want to be able to track and manage from software who's coming and going at that property. All they need is power and then the GSM SIM card, And from our software, which we'll dive into here in a minute, they're able to track and manage who's coming with this Eis lock with the keypad functionality. The Eis card reader is the same thing, just with the card reader. So instead of having the keypad function, they would have a card reader. You can choose any Wiegand card reader you want on this unit. This is one of our card readers that we show on here, but it has a Wiegand input that you simply plug the card reader into, and then again, you can manage this for an offsite location where they want to be able to give out cards and fobs and manage who's coming and going, but maybe don't have the infrastructure for a full access control system. This is a great option where they can still manage those Wiegand cards and fobs and can restrict access, and I'll show you all of that here in just a minute. And then we have the Eis MS. This is a GSM receiver, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this so we can see the board that we've been talking about for these last three. I'll go into Downloads and then Cut Sheet. You can see the board that we have here. Again, this is the same board that we use on the Eis lock, the Eis card reader, and then this unit, the Eis MS, which is the receiver. On this board, you have one relay, okay, which is different than all of our other boards, so pay attention to that. Again, this is for the Eis lock, Eis card reader, and Eis MS. You have one relay, and then you have a Wiegand input, and then a slot for your GSM SIM card here. And again, all of these units, although the boards in these units are different than any of our other ones, these are all controlled through the same software. So you'll see here in just a minute, you can have a list of 15 devices in your software and manage every one of them, and you could have an Eis LCD unit, Eis MS, Eis card reader, any of those, and manage them all remotely. Any questions on either of these three devices? Again, I didn't want to, you'll be able to see memory and all of those things in the cut sheets. I didn't want to get into that too much, just show you the hardware that you have. Just know whenever you see CLIP, C-L-I-P, that means caller ID. So that means that if someone is saved as a CLIP number, they can call the unit and the gate will open. And you'll see that throughout this presentation on the Eis units. Any questions on any of those three? Okay, doesn't look like we have any questions for that. Again, these three units I'm a fan of because they allow you to branch out a little bit. Not everybody wants a telephone entry unit, but they do need some sort of way to be able to control and manage who's coming and going. And our software is really user-friendly and nice to use, and these three options give them a card reader, keypad, or just a simple receiver option at, again, really, really good price points. Now, looking at the telephone entry options, our base model for the telephone entry is the Eis R. All this has is a call button, and what this one does is it allows you to call one main person, and then if that person doesn't answer, it will roll up to 4 other people. So a total of 5 people it can call, but what happens, I walk up, I press the button, it calls myself. If I don't answer, it will roll to my wife. If she doesn't answer, it can roll to somebody else, up to 5 people. Again, you can see up to 2004, there's no PIN code, so I'm not sure why it says PIN codes. But this will do clip numbers. You can see there 1,000 caller ID numbers or clip numbers, so they can call and open the unit. And then from our app, which you'll see, all of these devices can be remotely opened or closed from the app, directly from the app. Okay, so that's the Eis MS. That is our most simple telephone entry. That is just a call button, no keypad. Then when it comes to options with keypads, we have a couple different options. We have the Eis Entry 1. These are all paper displays. The Eis Entry 1, the Eis Entry 2, the Eis Entry 4, and the Eis Entry 40 are all paper displays. Please keep that in mind. The only units with LCD is the Eis Entry LCD unit. But all of these 4, the Eis Entry 1, Eis Entry 2, Eis Entry 4, and Eis Entry 40, all function the same way. The only difference is the amount of people that they will call. So if we look into the Eis Entry 1, the way that it works is each button on each of these, the Eis Entry 1, 2, and 4, will call one main person, again, rolling up to 5 total people, just like the Eis Entry R. And then you have the same accessibility and same feature set with this, where you can do 1,000 4-digit PIN codes. Now, it's important to know that each of our units have a Wiegand input. That Wiegand input allows you to tie in a Wiegand receiver, a Wiegand card reader, or a Wiegand keypad, and then through our cloud-based software and app, manage and run reports on who's coming and going with those devices. That is something that we are extremely proud of and that sets us apart from our competition, is that you can track and manage Wiegand devices with our Wiegand input on all of our Eis Entry products. So if I have a customer that says, I only need one call button because it's just my home and it's just going to call me, and I can have it roll to my husband if I don't answer. But I would really like to be able to track transmitters. You can put a Wiegand receiver in here and then program in their Wiegand transmitters into the pin code section, which I'll show you here in just a minute. And now they can run reports and view logs and manage who's coming and going with the transmitters or any other Wiegand credential that they have. And again, that's found on any of our devices. So one of the popular applications for that would be our Eis LCD unit, where it's going to go on an apartment complex, and the apartment's going to give out transmitters or cards or fobs. And you can say, okay, no problem, we'll throw the Eis Entry controller out there, the Eis Entry LCD. You'll tie in a Wiegand receiver, and then they'll manage and track all of those Wiegand credentials through the software. It's a really nice application to have. So the Eis Entry 1, they have the keypad functionality and then the call button. So you can call one person rolling up to 5. The Eis Entry 2, they have the keypad functionality and then 2 call buttons. So this would be the Joneses and the Cofords. If I press the Joneses, it calls Mr. Jones. If he doesn't answer, it can roll up to 5 people. Then if I press this button, it's going to call the Cofords. If I don't answer, it's going to roll up to 4 other people. Same thing for the 4. It's just as 4 buttons, each one rolling up to 5 people. And then the Eis Entry 40, again, another paper display. The Eis Entry 1, 2, 4, and 40 are all paper displays. The Eis Entry 40 allows you to put the paper display of 40 in and then call the apartment number that's listed. It just gives you more memory for caller ID. Okay? Each of these has memory for Wiegand transmitters, PIN codes, caller ID numbers, which means they can call, and you'll see more of the functions in the software. Any questions on that, on those units? Okay. The Eis LCD, so our most popular units, just so you can know, are the Eis LCD and the Eis 1. Now, the LCD comes in 2 different memories. It comes in the 200 memory and the 1000 memory. What that means is that is a memory for the number of people that show up on the display. So the 200 memory is going to give you 200 different apartments. Each apartment can call up to 2 people, so this is a little bit different. So if I was to go in, I'll go ahead and click on this. And again, you'll see all this in the software, and this will make more sense. I just wanted to break it down a little bit for you. We just see 4 names on this display. This is a 4-line display. If I scrolled down and called Quinn, let's say I was on there, if I didn't answer, it can roll up to 1 other person, and you can select from 200 memory or 1000 memory. And 1000 that's a ton, but these are popular sellers for us. Again, a great application is on an apartment complex where they want to be able to put the names in at a very inexpensive price compared to our competitors. And then if they also want to put any Wiegand device, they have those Wiegand inputs. The LCD units have 2 Wiegand inputs that can be used. So you can run, let's say, a UHF reader, a long-range UHF reader, and a Wiegand receiver for transmitters, or if you want to do 2 card readers, one for a walk gate and one for a man gate, one for a walk gate and one for a vehicle gate, you can do those things. It does have 2 Wiegand inputs. And then all of the Eis 1, the Eis 2, the Eis 4, the Eis 40, and the LCD have 2 relays. The other units that we talked about, the Eis locks, and sorry, I know this is a lot of information, but the Eis lock, the Eis CR, and the Eis MS have 1 relay, and also the Wiegand input, as well as the Eis R, that has 1 relay. And then all of the rest, the 1, the 2, the 4, the 40, and the LCD have 2 relays and 2 Wiegand inputs. And it looks like we have a question.
Can the Eis Entry 1 roll the 5 numbers over that you put into the software?
Yes, the Eis Entry 1, the Eis Entry 2, the Eis Entry 4, each button will roll up to 5 different numbers. So if I don't answer it, we'll roll up to 4 different people. And what we've done that's a little bit unique is if you call my number, if I'm the first person on there and you call me and I answer, let's say I don't answer. Ours does not get picked up by a voicemail. It will roll right through the voicemail based off the time off hook that you've set, which I'll show you, and go to the next person. And then with ours, the way that you allow people access is you press 1-1 for relay 1 or 2-1 for relay 2. So you can trigger either of those relays directly from your phone when you get a call. So they call me, I answer. I want to let them in because I'm a nice guy, and if I want relay 1, I press 1-1, or if I want to latch the gate open and I've set latch output 2 to be a latch, I can press 2 on and it'll hold that gate open, or they can just both be momentary opening different gates. Any other questions on that? Did I answer that question? Now, another unique thing that we do is if I call somebody, let's say I'm the guest and I press the call button, if they say, hey, this is Quinn, let me in your gate, and I say, okay, and press 1-1 and I open my gate, we do not end the call there. So if I call, hey, this is Quinn, let me in, okay, 1-1, the call continues. So I can say, hey, did you get in? Are you sure you made it into the gate open? Yeah, it did. Most of the competition, it ends the call as soon as you press 1-1. We thought it'd be a nice feature to give you guys, to allow you some extra time to say, hey, did the gate open? We'll see you in a minute, or whatever it's going to be. Now, there is a time-off hook that you can set in the software that makes it so it will only ring for a certain amount of time, or when you answer, it will only stay answered for a certain amount of time. So if you forget to hang up or something like that, it will automatically hang up after the allotted time. So those are a couple features. So again, I'll just go over it again quickly. The Eis Lock, the Eis Card Reader, and the Eis MS are non-telephone entry. There's no call features, but they are GSM. They each have one relay and one Wiegand input. The Eis R is our base telephone entry unit, no keypad, one call button that rolls up to 5 people with one relay and one Wiegand input. The Eis 1, the Eis 2, and the Eis 4 each have a call button, at least one call button, each call button rolling up to 5 people. They have 2 relays and 2 Wiegand inputs. The Eis 40, you call the number and press pound, 2 relays. And the Eis LCD, 2 relays and 2 Wiegand inputs with a 4-line display. So a ton of different options in the GSM sector for you guys to be able to refer to on different jobs. We know a lot of guys do residential, a lot of guys do commercial, and so we've given you every option in between. Any questions so far before I jump into the software? And again, the price points on these are fantastic. They are really well priced. You'll usually save between 15 to 20% from the competitors' pricing that you're getting. So just keep that in mind as you're looking to do jobs. Please call us for pricing. We're happy to help you out. Now I'm in the software. Again, the software is either through our cloud-based software. You can log on from any internet-connected device and type in eisware.com, which you see here, EISWARE.com. And the home screen, which you can see here, is, as the installer, this is actually pretty cool. You can load every single device that you've installed. So I have 3 devices here. Each of them is a different telephone entry or a different GSM device. And then you can manage all of them directly from this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on LCD Demo, which is the LCD unit on that GSM display that we're going to be doing. And this will log me into the main screen. This is where I'm going to be able to configure and do all of my changes right from here. Now, I could back out and click on any other unit. So this makes it nice when you get a call from a customer. They say, hey, can you remind me again how to do PIN codes? And off the top of your head, it might be hard to remember. So you can go to your device, log into their device if you've saved it under your profile, and then log right in from there and make any changes they need to make, which is really nice for you as the installer and definitely save you some time. So we're looking at an Eis LCD. I can't remember if this is 1,000 or 200. This is a 1,000 memory LCD, and we'll configure it a little bit and walk you through the configuration. So the first screen that we're going to see is the intercom screen. This is where I'm going to go in and I can put in my apartment number. The apartment number is different than the position. The position number cannot be changed. That's for the software that we need. The apartment number means I could change this number. Let's say I want this number to be apartment number 100. That means that if I walk up to the device and I don't want to scroll through 1,000 names to find the person when I know what apartment they live in, I can walk up and say, oh, I know that Quinn lives in apartment 100. I press 100 on the keypad pound, and it's going to call Quinn rather than me having to scroll through 1,000 names to try to find Quinn and then press the call button. So that's a nice feature, and you can make those numbers whatever you want. It doesn't have to be less than 1,000. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in my phone number. Okay, now you all have my cell phone, so you can text me at late hours asking technical support questions. Can't promise I'll respond. I'm going to put in my username, and I'm actually going to do last name first because this is how it will appear on the LCD display. I want it to trigger output 1, which is relay 1, and I want it to delay between calls 25 seconds. That means if I was to put a second number in here, which I'm not going to, that if I didn't answer this number first, it will roll to this number after 25 seconds, which is just the default. I'm going to press the check mark, which will save that, and you'll see a box here that will show intercom table. That's a change I've made that I need to send to the device. One thing I will mention before we go on is one of the great things about the cloud and cloud-based software is that all updates can be done automatically, and you do not have to stress out about retrieving information from the device before you send new information. The second I clicked on LCD demo, our software goes in and automatically retrieves everything that is on the unit currently. So your customers cannot override anything. You don't have to worry about pressing retrieve information. All you have to do is send information, but they won't override anything because it always pulls current information without them having to do anything, which is actually really nice, especially when dealing with end users. I'm going to go ahead and put my name in here. Save that. Now I have my name saved as Apartment 100. This will show up on our screen as soon as I send it. Now I'll click to the next tab, which is Pin Access. Pin Access is where you will save any Wiegand devices you have, so Wiegand transmitters with their facility code and serial number. And actually all you put in here is their serial number, the 5-digit serial number, and where you can do pin codes for the keypad that's on there. So I'm going to go ahead. I already have code 1225 already saved in there, and you saw I didn't have to do anything to retrieve that. It just showed up. I'm going to put code 3456. And I'm going to put this to test. And I'm going to press save. Now you have, you'll see here, 2,000. You have 2,000 total pin codes that you can save. Again, that's Wiegand devices, so Wiegand transmitters, Wiegand cards, whatever it may be, but you can save up to 2,000 in the system. Okay, and it is all saved under pin codes. Now I can decide if I want certain transmitters to trigger certain outputs. So I want these two to only trigger output 1, and I don't want anything to trigger output 2. Now you can have all 2,000 trigger output 1 and all 2,000 trigger output 2, or separate them like you can see here. Now I'm going to go to caller ID. Let me make sure I saved those. I can't remember if I did. Yep, I saved that code. I'm going to go to caller ID. This is where I can put in and say I want Quinn and his cell phone to be able to call this gate. Let's make sure I typed in my number right, 3686. So I want Quinn to be able to call this gate and open it. If Quinn's name is not in here with the setting that I have, you could call the gate all day long and it's not going to open. Now, you can also set caller ID always on, which means I don't want to go through the hassle of going and putting everyone's caller ID or phone number in here to say they can call the gate. I want anybody who has the gate's phone number to be able to call it. So all I'd do is change here and click caller ID always on, which means anybody who knows the number, anybody who calls it, that gate opens. Or you can specify like we've done here. Right now, Quinn is the only person that can open that gate because I've specified that for him. Okay. You have your output control. You can do output 1 or output 2 on the LCD. You can do latching or timed and change it from normally open to normally closed if you need to. And again, that's a nice feature. So you can configure the outputs. Inputs, the only thing you ever need to worry about on inputs is if you connect a Wiegand device, so a Wiegand receiver, a Wiegand card reader, Wiegand keypad, you would change this to Wiegand mode. Okay. Now, if you're out in the field and you say, hey, I changed it to Wiegand mode, I sent it to the device, how come my Wiegand isn't passing through? Whenever you change from normal to Wiegand mode, you have to power cycle the unit. That's something important to know. And again, our technical support would have that answer for you. But it looks like we have another question.
He said, I noticed that he said those are for the Wiegand device pins. Will this include the keypad on the unit?
Yeah, good question. So the pin access is all Wiegand devices, if you do Wiegand mode, or any of the units that have keypads. This is where pin codes are stored. Okay, good question. Temporary pin access is exactly what it sounds like. I can say I want code 7777 to work 3 times. And that's going to be Quinn 2. I'm going to save that. That means that code 7777 after the 3rd time will no longer work in the system. And you can see my change log is accumulating up here with all of the changes that I've made until I send it down to the device. Okay. Service button we don't need to worry about. Administration we don't need to worry about either, but what it is it allows you, if I was to put in my phone number and username, I can set it so that anytime there's a low credit alert, if you're doing a pay-as-you-go SIM card, which I would advise against 150%, never do a pay-as-you-go, because that is, anytime we get technical questions on these, it is usually a pay-as-you-go SIM card that's out of minutes, or they don't have the proper things on the SIM card. It's actually probably a pretty good segue. We sell SIM cards if you want the SIM card, and that is probably the simplest way to go. We charge yearly for that SIM card. We keep it activated, and it's basically unlimited. They can use it as much as they want, never run out, and the price does not fluctuate. It's one price all the time, no matter how much they use it. But the biggest problem that we have is when people purchase their own SIM card, it's either not been activated correctly or it doesn't have the proper information on it. So what you need in order to use everything I'm showing you today is voice, SMS text messaging, and the smallest amount of data that you can get. The data allows us to connect the units to the cloud so that you can have this nice software and the app to use. If you don't have those, you're going to call us wondering why it's not working, and we'll always tell you go back to the T-Mobile or AT&T store. Those are the two SIM cards you can use. And make sure that it's open and has voice, SMS, text messaging, and data. You need those things. And again, it's easier just to get them from us, but we know some guys have done this a long time and have their local cell phone store whipped into shape, and they know exactly what they need. But that'll probably be the biggest hassle if you try to do your own SIM card, so just keep that in mind. And that's not just our product. That's any GSM device. Now, timer. This allows you to have a 7-day timer set to the unit so you can do openings, automatic openings and closings, which is something we got a lot of requests for. This has been out now. The timer function has been added to the software for about 4 or 5 months, and it works really good and allows you guys to be able to say, my customer wants the gate to open automatically at 8 a.m. And close automatically at 5 p.m. So we do have that timer function. Now, one of the unique things and something to know is if I was to come in here and set, okay, I want this to automatically open at, we'll do a weird time, let's say 8 p.m. Whoops, this is a 24-hour clock, so let's do something easy. I want this to automatically open at 8 a.m. and close again at 11 a.m. And I'm going to save that. That is now set to be open for 3 hours, stay unlocked for 3 hours. And what will happen is I have a couple different options here. I can choose my output, so I either want it to be open relay 1 or open relay 2. If I set day, that means that every day of the week will obey this schedule. I can change it to week, and then you can do specific times for specific days. And then I have my output mode here. Master mode means that no matter what you have the relays configured to. So let's say you have both relay 1 and relay 2 occupied, and they're both momentary or timed openings. Master mode means that during the hours that you have set, so in this case 8 to 11, it will override whatever that does. So that means from 8 to 11, that gate is going to latch and stay open, even if the relay is only set to momentary for PIN codes or for caller ID numbers. The time will say, nope, I'm supposed to open at 8. I'm going to stay open until I'm told to close at 11. So master mode allows you to do that. Slave mode means that the timer will obey whatever setting you have on the relay. So if you set output 1, let's say on your outputs, you've set output 1 to be time pulse for 5 seconds, and then you say, okay, I'm going to set my timer for output 1, and I'm going to do a slave mode. That means that it's going to obey that relay setting and only open that gate for 5 seconds. Okay? And then the last option that you have is output precondition. Output precondition makes it so that you set the times, and during that time, so let's stick with our example here, 8 to 11, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., the PIN codes that I have set to open output 1 and the caller ID numbers that I have set to open output 1 only work between those hours. This is our way of doing the first release of our time schedule. So that says, okay, let's go back to our PIN codes. We have code 1225, and that's triggering output 1. And we have code 3456 triggering output 1. If I was to come back to my timer and say, set output precaution to 8 to 11, that means that those PIN codes that I just showed you and those caller IDs will only work from 8 to 11. So you can say, okay, I want certain people to only be let in at certain times. I'm putting them in output 1. And then you can put everybody else that you want to work 24/7 on output 2. Does that make sense? That's a really cool feature, and I'm glad we added that. That's a new feature that we have, and it's a really nice feature, especially because most people do need some sort of time restrictions, and that's the way we're doing it for this first release of our time restrictions. Any questions on that? Okay. So you have all of those options. So now I'm just going to say I've set an 8 to 11, open at 8, close at 11. I'm doing master mode because I just want it to latch open, a simple hold open. And now I have all my logs, all of my changes ready to go. So now I've got them all listed up here. All I do is click send to device. This will affect 5 different records. Yep, no problem. I understand that. Press OK. And now it's connecting, and you don't have to do anything. You just get to sit back and watch it. It usually takes about 40 to 60 seconds to connect and send the data. So we're going to go ahead and send this data, and then I will show it to you on the screen here in just a minute and show you that our changes have been saved. You can see there's it says connecting. Now it's in session, which is a good sign. As soon as you get the in session, that means you're good. And it's now sending the data, 1 of 2 commands sent, and we're just about done. Still counting, almost done. Again, like I said, between 40 and 60 seconds. Okay, done. I think that probably took about 50 seconds. So now all this information that you see, anytime you see information on the screen and your log is empty, that means that's all current information in the system. So we are set up with what should be my name on the screen, PIN code 1225, and I think 43456, my caller ID, and a timer. All of those things. I'm going to go ahead and take the timer off because I don't want my gate to hold open right now. Yes, I'm sure I want to delete it. And now that I've deleted it, I deleted my timer. I'm going to need to resend it down to the device. So I'm going to do that one more time because I just don't want my gate holding open for test purposes. And now we're sending that information again down to the device, and that's going to connect. Now, while that's sending, what I want to show you is our phone app. Again, this can be downloaded from Android or the iPhone store. Okay, it is called Eisware-web, EISWARE-web, and you can download that on iPhone or Android. You can see here, this looks very similar to the software. It says, okay, Quinn, these are all the units that you have saved, and I can log on and make changes to any of these units. I'm going to go ahead and click on the LCD demo, which is the one we've been making changes to, and I get a screen. I can do direct controls. If I click direct controls, this is going to allow me to remotely and quickly open or close my gate. Output 1 on would open the gate, output 1 off would close it, output 2, again, that's just triggering the relays and the different options you have there. I'm going to go ahead and click back, and I'm going to go to direct controls. Sorry, I didn't mean direct controls. I meant configuration. Sorry, we're using one hand for the mic and one hand for the phone. Configuration is going to give you the same options that we just went through in the software, but in a very easy to use app-based format. So if I click on pin access, it's going to load, and again, it is always retrieving current information. So my pin access now, I want to go to my table 1, and you'll see Quinn's code of 1225 and the code 3456 are in there, and I can go ahead and add any other codes I wanted. Not a lot to show you on the app, just know that you have, sorry, again, I'm using one hand here. If I go to intercom, it's going to show us Quinn's name on the intercom right there, apartment number, and all of that information. You can go ahead and add another intercom or scroll and do whatever you need to. So the app is a really quick and easy way to be able to control that when you're in the field and if you don't have access to a computer. But they both have the same things. If I send it from the app, it's going to send it. If I send it from the computer, it's going to send it. And this is true cloud software, so you don't have to worry about, there's no software download, there's no there's no IP addresses, there's nothing. You literally plug your SIM card in, an active SIM card, power up the device, download the app, or go to eisware.com, add your unit, and you're good to go. And again, you can manage and view as many different devices as you want. So as an installer, that's a nice, quick, easy reference. Okay, let's go ahead and look now at our at the changes that we've made to the Eis LCD. What you would have seen when looking at this unit, if we would have been looking at this, you would have seen it would have said system initialization. That's when I sent it, and I had system initialization, it would have done that quickly. The unit, it takes literally about 3 seconds, so it's not going to interrupt any flow of traffic or anything like that. But I'll scroll down here and you can see Quinn's name, and I'm going to go ahead and I would press and call it. I'm not going to because you guys won't be able to really see it. Press and call it, and I press 1-1 to trigger output 1 because we have output 1 communicating to our gate operator. Now I can also, and if I leave this, it will go back to the default screen that says welcome and gives you a couple instructions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press my PIN code, and we'll see the gate operator that we have connected open up. You'll hear one beep. You probably can't hear it. And then we have it connected to this nice operator, and it went ahead and opened that operator. I could also use the other PIN code, which is 3456, and it would do the same. Important to know that on our keypad, you do press pound. So you type in the PIN code, and then you press, I feel like a news anchor. I can see myself on the TV here. I feel like I'm doing a news report or something. You do press pound to send the information or the code. Now, if I had a Wiegand device, I would simply wire it up. You can see how we have this wired up. We've put a wireless transmitter module into one of the relays and then one of our receivers into the gate operator because we didn't want to hardwire it. But you do have 2 relays, and then you have 2 Wiegand inputs that you can use. I would wire up my Wiegand receiver into the Wiegand input. We have power here, our SIM card, and then from there you would be able to just push a transmitter. If it's saved in the system and if it's during hours that you've allowed for access, you're going to go ahead and be able to open that gate, okay? And again, 2 relays on this unit as well as the 1, 2, 4, and 40. The 3 units that you see down here have 1 relay and 1 Wiegand input. So a lot of different options. I know this has been a product that's been in the field for quite some time and works really well. We've had a ton of success. We have a lot of units out there. We have them from everything from a residential 1 apartment up to giant apartments where it's operating. And they're using Wiegand transmitters or Wiegand devices. So let's go ahead and see if we have any questions. Hopefully this has been informative. We didn't want to take too much of your time. It looks like we took about 40 minutes. But any questions I can answer for you guys? Again, I'll tell you while we're waiting for questions to come in, please contact your sales rep for pricing. These are very competitively priced GSM devices and telephone entries, especially for the functions that we've shown you today. You get a ton of features and functions. We do not charge for the app, and we do not charge for the Eis GSM software, which is important. The only monthly fee there is the SIM card fee, which you can buy on your own or purchase from us. Any questions we can answer? Okay, I will stick around and answer any questions, so feel free to type them in and we'll answer them. I'll stick around for as long as we need to answer any questions, but thank you very much for your time. Hopefully this was informative. And again, feel free to ask any questions. We'll stick around and answer them. Thanks.